What's your design style? Traditional? Modern? Somewhere in between, like most people? Hello friends! Welcome back. I'm Lindsay, an interior stylist and teacher, here to help you create a home you love on a budget. In today's video, we're discussing a classic and fresh design style that is one of the most popular in the US today and one of the most requested here on this channel, transitional. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments down below. Let's get right into it. First off, what is transitional style? It's the perfect blend of traditional elements and modern interior design, two completely dissimilar styles that when blended together create a classic and fresh interior. Transitional is a blend of traditional and modern without being too 18th century stuffy or modern minimalist stark. Transitional rooms include a lot of large-scale, deep, comfortable furniture and a mix of old and new decor, all in a neutral color palette. It's often seen as universally appealing. Just look at all the hotels and resorts that are pursuing this design style. Taking a look back on the history of this design, it actually has roots a bit farther back than you might think. According to an article I found on Apartment Therapy, transitional style is a relatively new addition to the design world, with its origins tracing back to the 1950s and the postmodernism era that quickly ensued. Fatigue from the stark, streamlined elements of modernism and postmodernism led to the adoption of cozier pieces reminiscent of traditional style. Think of the root word transit as being something traveling between two destinations. Those are the worlds of traditional and modern design, with transitional as the middle ground that combines elements of both. Transitional has made a huge resurgence just in the last few years thanks to some key interior designers and general shifts in interior design trends. Now let's dive into the key elements of this style, parts of the room that will help you to achieve it in your home. First up, color palette. Transitional relies on a largely neutral, earth tone influenced color palette. Think earth tones in various shades, tans, beiges, taupes, paired with deep browns to add depth and subtle contrast. This color palette is inspired by relaxation, think calming, soothing, and easy on the eyes. Next, walls. A lot of transitional spaces embrace traditional design elements like baseboards and crown molding. Don't go overboard with wall paneling to keep the overall look soothing and simple. No bold print wallpaper. Instead, opt for textured natural seagrass wall coverings or even fabric options. When it comes to windows, keep drapery extremely simple. You'll notice that a lot of transitional interior designers tend to rely on white or even a very pale beige for window treatments. You'll even notice a lot of transitional rooms may not include drapery at all, giving the room an even simpler vibe, especially in main living areas like living and dining rooms where you don't need as much daily privacy. When it comes to floors, it seems most transitional spaces rely on the traditional hardwood flooring or hardwood look, but rugs, on the other hand, add a lot of layered texture to a space. Think natural jute or seagrass layered with vintage rugs in muted tones for a really grounding presence without adding too much competing color or contrast. Rugs should maintain a neutral color palette, tone-on-tone designs that add subtle interest without taking over a space. When it comes to furniture, round and angular pieces coexist in transitional spaces. An L-shaped sectional with clean lines pairs nicely with a rounded back accent chair, or even a round table or drum shade on a more modern lamp. Round mirrors can break up a space with otherwise angular cabinets or built-ins. Seating should be deep and large scale with plenty of space to curl up without being overly formal or intimidating. When it comes to textiles, you want to rely more on tonal contrast and texture versus bold print and pattern. Look for textiles that create contrast through texture and hue rather than relying solely on bold colors or prints. Select a neutral palette and find different tones within that palette to create varied interest throughout a space, especially when layering textiles like blankets, throw pillows, and even selecting the upholstery fabric for furniture. Remember, a sofa or headboard is your largest purchase, so you want to go for something that's in a soft neutral with a slight texture. That'll create a nice base neutral, then you can layer in other shades of that tone for subtle contrast. Area rugs, pillows, and blankets should fall somewhere into that neutral zone, either warm or cool tone neutrals, to create depth and variation around the room. Remember, soft, high-performing fabrics work best. Transitional spaces are meant to be family-friendly and shouldn't be held too formal or sacred. It should be easy for everyone to feel like they can just jump on the couch and have a good time. Now let's go to my favorite category, artwork. Artwork in transitional spaces generally leans more modern to create contrast against more traditional furniture. Keep artwork in that simple color family, neutrals. It's okay to go with a black or something more bold to create contrast, but you just don't want to overwhelm the space with dark color. The occasional use of vintage paintings can add another layer to your design. Think vintage landscapes, sketches framed in black with white matting, natural wood picture frames, antique frames with modern art, all the while keeping the palette soothing and muted. Don't be afraid to leave a little intentional blank wall space. Planned negative space can really make this style feel fresh and calm, even if you don't want to go all the way minimalist. Moving on to lighting, Transitional also relies heavily on modern statement lighting fixtures for an unexpected twist amidst traditional furniture pieces. This is a great place to incorporate more shine and visual interest through metal and glass elements. I love the way these modern light fixtures add an unexpected element with this interesting mix of traditional and modern furniture. It really grabs the eye's attention and makes the room feel super unique and special. Now, some of you love this part the most. Accessories are so much fun to source. You want to be really careful to not go overboard with accessories in any design style, I guess unless you're going full on eclectic, but especially in this design style. Keeping desktops and tabletops clear of clutter, leaving that open space adds to the overall calming vibe of transitional rooms. When it comes to accessories, remember less is more. Think simple shapes with clean lines, focusing on function. You really want to curate accessories intentionally. Pops of color are okay, done in moderation. Layering in metallic or glass pieces will add more visual interest. Now that we've gone over the key elements, let's talk about 3 important design philosophies to keep in mind if you're pursuing transitional in your home. First, it's all about balance. When we're putting 2 completely dissimilar styles together like traditional and modern, we're balancing those 2 elements, and that's how you create the magic of this style. If you have a modern sofa, go for a more traditional set of accent chairs. If you have a more modern coffee table, maybe juxtapose it with a more traditional accent table. The same goes for light and dark colors, highly textured items, and items with no texture at all. Round furniture pieces, angular furniture pieces. You want to think about all these elements and try to hit that perfect balance of each little category. Next big design philosophy, comfort is key. If you love to source beautiful furniture that is also sumptuously comfortable and cushy and cozy for your family, this might be the style for you. Transitional spaces often feature large-scale, deep, comfy, cushy furniture in light tone neutral fabrics, giving every single person a comfy spot to join the party. Although some furniture pieces may be more traditional and formal, comfort is always a critical factor in furniture selection in a transitional room. The last philosophy, and possibly the most important, transitional isn't just traditional plus modern. Traditional plus modern plus contemporary equals transitional. Don't forget that contemporary element. A lot of people mistake modern and contemporary design because those 2 words sound like synonyms, but in the world of interior design, they're actually quite different. Modern, minimalist, clean lines, simple, leaning into that Japanese Zen aesthetic. Modern is definitely tied to a specific time period, like mid-century modern, for example. However, contemporary is what's currently popular in design. By nature, it's constantly evolving and changing. Because contemporary is a big part of transitional design, that means that you can try out different trends, try out different things, take a look at what's new in interior design and incorporate little elements into your transitional space without compromising your overall design aesthetic. It gives you a little bit of freedom and lets you know that you can make it your own. Contemporary design by nature involves constant change. Therefore, transitional, as the name implies, will also transition and evolve with the ebbs and flows of what's currently popular, all the while seamlessly blending into the elements of classic design. If you're loving this style, you're probably wondering where you can gather up some more inspiration, and I've got some great sources for you. The first one is hotels and resorts. There's a reason why so many destinations are embracing transitional style. It's so popular, it's easy on the eyes, and seen by many as universally appealing. So next time you're looking to book a hotel or resort, maybe take a peek at their gallery, see if you can find some place to stay on your next vacation that matches your interior design style. It's a great great way to gather ideas, just take a ton of photos, and when you get home, you can start looking for some ways to incorporate those styles into your own home. I'm a huge fan of two of the biggest transitional designers, and of course, first I want to say these are professional interior designers capable of designing spaces in many different styles, as they've both shown over time. They're sort of quintessential rooms that a lot of people are drawn to. They both veer in the transitional zone. The first is Shay McGee, rose very quickly to popularity over the last couple of years. She's got a show on Netflix, and again, she's a professional interior designer that works with clients and of course is going to design a space to fit the needs and style of each client. Some of her spaces lean a little bit more traditional or more modern farmhouse, but when you look at Shay and Sid McGee's actual home where they live, it's a transitional wonderland. It's a lot of muted neutral palette, light bright walls, very bright curtains, modern art and light fixtures, great place to gather inspiration. Another one of my favorite transitional designers that's been a huge influence on me over the last year, Amber Lewis. She's known for that California cool, comfortable, casual textured vibe. She loves to juxtapose modern and traditional pieces, and it's really fun to take a look at all the different ways that she layers textures within a space, showing that you can create contrast without bold color or pattern. How do we make this an easy style to achieve? I've got some great ideas for you. First, paint the walls a soft, bright neutral. It might be a Benjamin Moore Simply White, or even a warm tone beige like Balboa Mist. Next, select furniture pieces in neutral textural upholstery. When selecting a sofa or bed frame, for example, this gives a great grounding neutral to a space. Next, invest in a statement piece, like a modern metallic light fixture or an antique cabinet. When surveying furniture in your space, remember to balance both angular and rounded furniture pieces. Try pairing rounded, more traditional accent chairs with a more modern sofa with clean lines. Tip number 5, stick to muted, soft patterns or rely exclusively on tonal neutrals. You want to avoid overly bright colors or bold patterns, as it will create too much distraction for the eye in a calming transitional space. Avoid overly bright or patterned artwork or textiles. And finally, incorporate a range of elevated materials. Think boucle, leather, wood, your favorite metals, brass, glass. Where do you find all this transitional goodness? I'm going to share how you can source it new, how you can source it secondhand, and how you can shop for it in your own home. If you're looking for some new pieces, especially in the furniture zone, I would recommend looking for things at Crate & Barrel and Pottery Barn, two big decor retailers that do this style really well. Both stores have a range of both traditional and modern pieces available, and if you look at their designer rooms, both in their showrooms and online, you can see how they mix these elements together to create this style. Another couple of great places, if you've got the money for it, Amber Lewis has an online shop called Shop Amber Interiors, where she sells a lot of vintage and new items that are beautifully transitional. And Shay McGee, same thing. She's got her shop, McGee & Co. online. It is a bit spendier for sure, but if there's a piece there that would really make a statement in your room, it might be worth saving up for. The traditional element of this design style really lends itself to secondhand searches, whether you're looking in thrift shops, antique stores, flea markets. You want to hunt out those traditional, kind of worn in furniture pieces that will add layered texture to a space. Then you can fill in with some more modern pieces from your new shopping. When it comes to sourcing transitional secondhand, comb antique shops and thrift stores for natural wood pieces that add a little bit of history when juxtaposed against new furniture pieces. You know I'm a huge Etsy lover. It's a great place to source vintage furniture, art, and accessories, but I personally love to use it most for sourcing vintage area rugs, perfect for this design style, and vintage pillow covers. I always admire Amber Lewis's designs for these layered sort of vintage textural throw pillows, and Etsy is a great place to find those. The best way to shop your own home is to simply look for family heirlooms. When I was sourcing furniture pieces for my office redesign, I'll link that video down below. I was so excited to be gifted this antique washstand from my mother by way of my grandfather. I love the natural beauty of this marble. It was a fantastic jumping off point for the design of this space and led to a lot of other really fun interior design decisions. Starting with a family heirloom like this is a great place to add that layered traditional side and then layer in some more modern pieces to make it all work in that transitional design space. If you don't have have any family heirlooms, try searching your local thrift shop, antique store, or flea market for the kind of piece you would love to find in your grandmother's attic. Still wondering if this design style is for you? Here's my prediction. If you love both traditional and modern furniture and decor elements, this one might be for you. You won't feel like you can only buy traditional or only buy modern. You can create your own unique mix that fits your aesthetic. You might want to hold off on transitional if you prefer a more eclectic design style, a more eclectic approach to styling. The modern element in transitional doesn't leave a lot of room for excess clutter or decor. Keeping accessories really minimal is a big part of this design style. So if you're veering more in the eclectic zone, Amber Lewis, she definitely leans in the more eclectic zone in some of her spaces. A big part of transitional is keeping horizontal spaces clear of clutter and very intentionally adding accessories here and there, relying on a little bit of negative space. If you like to layer in a lot of accessories, this might not be the right one for you. I love researching and sharing design styles to help you better define the direction for your home, so let me know which design style you'd like to see featured next. Like and subscribe for more interior design and home decor tips. Next week, I'm sharing our front porch makeover, and I can't wait to dive into that project. Until then, a little choose your own adventure. If you want to learn more about how to design Japandi style rooms, you'll want this video. If you're more interested in French modern interior design, this is the one for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, my friends. I highly recommend Amber Lewis's book, Made for Living. I find it so inspiring. I mean, come on.